Imagine standing in a desert, the sun beating down like a relentless drum, your boots sinking into the scorching sand. Every breath, a battle. This was Mark's reality, not just the physical heat, but the invisible war inside him after returning home from deployment. Isolation, nightmares that hijacked his nights. Mark wasn't just fighting enemies overseas anymore. He was battling the silence and stigma at home. But here's where it gets powerful. Mark decided he wouldn't let his story end in that desert. Instead, he transformed it into a lifeline for others. When Mark left the service, he noticed something heartbreaking. Many veterans around him were struggling quietly, feeling abandoned by a system that was supposed to support them. The obstacles were huge: lack of accessible mental health resources, a culture that prized toughness over vulnerability, and a personal fear of reaching out. Mark knew that to help, he first had to break his own barriers. He started small. Every morning, he wrote down one moment of gratitude and one small victory, even if it was just getting out of bed. This simple act rewired his brain to notice hope instead of despair. Then, he began sharing these reflections on a social platform designed for veterans. His posts were raw, no filters, no heroics, just honest snapshots of struggle and recovery. Mark's authentic voice resonated. Fellow veterans began opening up in comments, sharing their own battles with anxiety and loneliness. But Mark didn't stop at words. Drawing from his military training, he developed a peer support system, a kind of emotional boot camp where vulnerability was the strength. He organized weekly meetups in community centers, transforming sterile rooms into safe spaces filled with photos, mementos, and stories from service members' lives. Here, veterans practiced what Mark called emotional drills, exercises like mindful breathing under pressure, storytelling circles where each person's voice mattered, and role-playing scenarios to navigate difficult conversations with family or healthcare providers. One of Mark's unique strategies was adapting physical training to mental resilience. He introduced obstacle courses that symbolized life's challenges, crawling through tunnels to represent confronting dark memories, climbing walls to signify overcoming personal limits. These activities ignited the same camaraderie and discipline that had bonded them during service, now focused on healing. The transformation was profound. Veterans who once felt invisible found purpose and belonging. Mark saw men and women who had stopped dreaming begin setting goals again, learning new skills, volunteering, reconnecting with loved ones. The ripple effect extended beyond the group. Families noticed the changes. Communities embraced their heroes with renewed respect and understanding. Mark's journey teaches us that resilience isn't about erasing pain, but harnessing it to fuel growth. His actionable takeaways are clear. First, acknowledge your struggles honestly. Write them down, speak them aloud. Don't let shame silence you. Second, build your tribe. Seek out those who understand your battles and create spaces where vulnerability is safe. Third, transform routines. Incorporate physical and emotional exercises that challenge and strengthen you simultaneously. If you're facing your own desert, remember Mark's path. Start with one small step each day, share your story, and don't be afraid to redesign your battles into bridges. Because sometimes the greatest victory lies not in the fight itself, but in the courage to turn your scars into a beacon for others. But Mark's work didn't end there. Recognizing that some veterans couldn't easily access community centers or preferred anonymity, he spearheaded the development of an online extension of the Emotional Boot Camp. This digital platform combined forums, live group chats, and guided self-help modules tailored to veterans' unique experiences. It was a place to find immediate support at any hour, a virtual campfire where stories could be shared without judgment. Mark collaborated with mental health professionals to ensure the platform provided evidence-based resources while maintaining the grassroots spirit that made it relatable. He also involved veterans directly in content creation, empowering them to lead workshops and webinars on topics like managing flashbacks, rebuilding relationships, and navigating the transition to civilian jobs. The online community flourished, drawing in veterans from all over the country, including those in rural areas where services were scarce. Mark's model demonstrated how technology could bridge gaps in care, fostering connection even when physical proximity wasn't possible. Meanwhile, Mark continued advocating for systemic change. He partnered with veteran organizations and policymakers to highlight the urgent need for increased funding and accessibility to mental health services tailored for veterans. His firsthand experience and grassroots success lent credibility and urgency to his calls for reform. Mark also encouraged families of veterans to engage in the healing process. He organized family education sessions, helping loved ones understand PTSD and its impact, teaching communication techniques, and offering strategies to support recovery without enabling harmful behaviors. These sessions helped rebuild fractured relationships and created a stronger support network for veterans at home. Throughout his journey, Mark never lost sight of the importance of storytelling. He compiled a collection of veteran narratives, poems, and artwork into a published anthology that celebrated resilience and vulnerability. This project not only gave veterans another outlet for expression, but also educated the broader public about the complexities of military service and its aftermath. Mark's personal growth was evident too. By confronting his own pain and sharing it openly, he reclaimed his identity beyond the uniform. He found new purpose in mentorship, guiding younger veterans as they navigated their own post-service challenges. His story became a testament to the power of human connection and the indomitable spirit that can rise from the harshest deserts. In the end, Mark's legacy is more than just programs and platforms. It's a movement, a shift towards recognizing that strength lies not only in endurance, but in openness, that healing is possible through shared experience, and that no one has to face their battles alone. So if you find yourself in a desert of your own, remember Mark's footsteps. Take that first step of acknowledgement. Reach out and build your circle of trust. Engage in practices that nourish both mind and body. And above all, keep moving forward, transforming your wounds into beacons that light the way for others. Because in the shared journey of healing, we discover not just survival, but a profound and lasting victory.